to it, shall we? Let's dive straight in and see what is going on. Although I believe it's potentially going to be a little bit of a quiet day again. So jump in the chat with some questions. Link to sound. I've just closed it. Give me a second, Sin. Let's get our priorities straight and get you those tunes. Oh, I've got it here. Hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute. Royalty free. Royalty free dub sounds, I believe. When you stream something like that, I always have to have a little bit of royalty free on. So royalty free tech house or deep dark house music. I like a little bit of deep house. I do. House and hip hop. House and hip hop. Right. Jump in. What's up, Sin? What's up, Swaps? Yugbut's in. So, right, let's have a look what's going on then. It could be a little bit of a quiet session. It's been a quiet couple of days, hasn't it? Yesterday, a few altcoins were still popping off, doing their own thing. And I think they're all wetting the bed a little bit now, waiting on Big Boy Bitcoin. What move is he gonna pull? So let's have a fresh pair of eyes. I'm still in the same frame of mind. I actually quite enjoy it when it's a bit of a quiet day in the market sometimes, to chill and get some other work done. What's up, Max? Yeah, everyone jump in the chat, talk amongst yourselves while I chat shit for the next hour. I'll try and provide you with some actionable data along the way. Right, so let's move on. So yeah, if you watched the video earlier, I'm still looking at some lower levels to get taken. We're not too far away from the Monday highs there. I wanted just to present you with this layout first of all, just to show you that basically we've still got no real significant spot bid in the markets, okay? If anything, we've still got some offers lingering over Big Boy Bitcoin, a little bit higher. Obviously, perps came in yesterday. So if anyone's been hedging short positions down, very, very valid light positions. You're not getting too rewarded with Giga Nukes just yet. Very steady price action, to be honest. But one thing to say is that I don't think I don't think this is a long zone, really. I don't think it's a fresh short zone yesterday. I think the last shorts we had probably yesterday's US session, right on the weekly open there, wick the weekly open and down for all of 1.5 or 2% or whatever it was. Probably it was worth a trade, I think. Just if it's going to be a silent couple of days in the market, if you can scalp day trade and get 1 or 2% out of the market, you're still doing very, very well. So there's your levels. Monday highs still up there untouched. The Monday lows still untouched. I'd like to go and visit there. I'm not seeing any confluence of any demand in this zone yet, so it's all well and good for us all to have eyes on 100k, 101k, for a level of first interest to potentially go for a little bid. All right, what's up, Kalechi? Hope I'm pronouncing the name right. But it's nice to have these levels in mind. Classic tier levels, we all have them in mind, don't we, to say, yep, okay, if this then that, if we come down here, what do I want to see? We want to see some bid, okay? For me personally, and the way price action's been very, very slow, I would still prefer to see this lower zone at 97 or in and around there. Okay, it would give us a little bit of a fake out of the trend line. It would get us very bearish, wouldn't it? I'm already seeing on timelines that, we've moved hardly anything. The macro trend, daily trend, weekly trend, even 4-hour and 1-hour trends are still good. We've probably moved 2% in the last 24, 48 hours. And I'm already seeing that people are starting to get bored. They're you're getting this time capitulation, which means basically when you start to get no moves, people get bored. They start coming out long positions that they were in, still very valid long positions from lower because they're shitting themselves. The market's boring and they see price going down, so they start to short just because they see, you know, they start to see price rolling, people start to short these lows. I don't think that's a good idea, to be honest. I think it's a day of certainly up here, very valid short positions, head short positions. Even yesterday, little quick scalps down or whatever. I think right now, if you're in no position, just chill out a little bit. I think we're in an area where we could easily just come down, find some demand. Okay, if you remember what last Tuesday was like when we took the Monday lows and up, we're not quite in a range as mentioned on the last live session. We still are in a strong trending market. I'd be still in more favour of a violent push down, because as I'm seeing on the timelines and sentiment, price rolling over, very orderly, very nice technical TAs. You can just see it's just holding these old December range value area highs here. If you're really desperate, I can go over those again in TradingView, but there's not a lot changed in TradingView and the levels we are at, to be honest. Hence why I've been saying all week, you now need to concentrate on the pure bid ask, right? What moves the market? Pure bid and ask. Market, bid and ask primarily. Okay, and then limit order, obviously resting limit order, bid and ask when they get filled, when and if they get filled. Now, as I see people get bearish down here, I would love to go down and bid. What I want and what the market gives us is two totally different things, but I would love to just bang this down over the next 24 hours, come and get some demand here and back up and away we go, because you know the classic thing will happen where everybody will get really bearish down here because you are breaking structure and breaking trend. Let me just quickly show you that. 1 hour chart, just very quickly. You can see the trend there anyway, yeah? So I'm not going to start drawing trend lines. I'm not really into trend lines, to be honest, but everyone else is looking at them. So your trend line is coming in at the Monday low around 100k. Wouldn't it be very cheeky and very Bitcoin-esque if we were to fake out there and go back up? Yeah. And again, you know, if we come down there, I want to see demand in the books. Really nice and simple and easy. Another thing to consider, if I grab that, and yeah, I need to delete that, don't I? Another thing to consider if we are going to come down, let me go to a full window so we've got a bit of a bigger picture. But before we do that, I just want to show you the liquidity gaps. I'm just on the spot market now. I'll go to the perps market as well. And I'm having to go up to a 2-day at the minute because it's all looking very similar, and I'm going up to a 2-day because the top side price action we've not really moved in 2 days. Yeah, so the order book changes tab, which is our resting limit orders in the book, yeah, not market orders particularly, but resting limit orders in the book. You can see all these liquidity gaps down here. Okay, so if price suddenly starts to roll, it's going to, what happens is it'll go past 102, 101, 100, it'll dip and it'll really wick, right? It'll really wick because there's no resting orders there. And again, just to stipulate, market orders can come in and start to fill that space, of course, and move price. But these generally create really good liquidity and wick spaces. So you can see all the liquidity building up below, which for me personally, I love to see it because it makes for good trading, and that's all I want. Right, okay, so higher time frame, much higher time frame, spot portfolio and investments on Bitcoin. I hope everybody's heavily as involved as you can be, okay? But we're on this stream, we're more talking about trading, okay? Intraday trading, okay? And it makes for better trading when price moves, and the more volatile the price is, the better. Thank you, crypto god. So just want to point that out to you first, that we do have a lot of liquidity gaps to the downside. And yeah, I'm looking at a 2-day primarily. Why? Because we haven't really moved down much in the last 48 hours. Okay, if I go up to a 4-day, what we got? Yeah, so you've got a big gap on the 4-day between 100 and 99.8, and then yeah, you've got take your pick. You've got a few there really, and you can just see the way the liquidity above has come down to meet price. Yeah, so if price moves up here, unless the Saudis and the Arabs start to get involved and start bidding this up with their absolute wealth funds, I don't think price is going to go very far if we move up. And you can just see here that the orders are stacked above. Right, so that is that. Let me just go to a full window. So here we are. Okay, so you can see currently no particular bid, like I said right at the beginning, from the spot markets. If anything, 2.5 to 5% away, yeah, 2.5 to 5% away. We've still got offers lingering above, mainly from Bitstamp, mainly from Coinbase. Gemini Twins have got a little bit, and even spot Binance USDT, yeah, negative 35.40, which isn't much for spot. But I tell you what, if you're expecting price to go up from here, you don't want to see this. All right, bruv. It's not looking good, son. You want to confirm some bid, all right. CoinM, which I don't particularly... Let me go to my overlay layout. CoinM, which I don't particularly put too much weight on, but they do tend to be directionally on the right side of the market now and again, okay? And they've had offers for the last 48 hours. Again, what are we seeing in our aggregated book? We're in supply, right? You are not in a demand zone, yeah? So you can call for 101, you can call for 100K all day long, but you need some demand, right? Just to make that clear. Binance USDT, the kingmakers of the market, offers coming down to meet price over the last 48 hours. So very, very valid, cheeky little shorts over the last 48 hours, I do believe. And depth is steadily coming down with price, yeah? So this is kind of like a little bit of a natural formation. You will see this, to be honest. As price moved down, it needs to come down and actually fill some of this demand, to be honest. And what do you see in the big perps market? 5 to 10% away is now your nearest demand zone. And if you want to make it really, really obvious, where does that take you? 5% would get you down to your 97K. Where was our largest top level? Where do we want a fake out? 97K, right? So we are building a recipe of what Nick would like. Nick would like a very, very juicy, baked goods 97K long, if we can get it. Thank you very much, crypto gods. But who's to say that some absolute chad doesn't come in, start market buying this at the technical TA trend line level that everybody wants, 100, 101, and we move up, right? So got to be aware of that as well. Right, volume-esque. Let me show you volume. We'll go over the usual stuff and then we'll have a look at a few other things, yeah? So bear with us. Let's just have a fresh pair of eyes, even though I looked at all of this morning. And then, to be honest with you, I've not looked at the charts much since first thing this morning, like 6 a.m. my time, because not a lot's happening, right? So, 90% of your time, sit on your hands, do nothing, okay? 10% of your time, that's when you're pushing buttons and executing trades, yeah? So... we still got potential for bullish divergences if we come down, yeah? So what we're talking about here, 15-minute basis. So from you could go from there really, but basically I'm looking at price coming down, usual kind of shenanigans. Let's have a look at this. And what I want to see is I want price to come down. I'd love it to get below 100K if it can. And then all we're looking at, all right, is just hold the line, okay? So volume-wise, I don't want to see big volume sellers come in and start to chase price down. Volume holds, we catch some bid, drop the open interest, because the open interest is still looking a little bit tasty. I would like that a little bit lower, right? I'm not an open interest trade. I don't really give, it's not going to make me execute a trade, open interest, the bid and ask will. But yeah, just keep an eye on that. So just going over a few obvious things, that's all I want to say. Quickly then, while we're looking at some of the obvious shit, let's have a look at what chart is that? What am I doing here? What chart is that? I don't have a clue what is going on there. That's freezing up, isn't it? Let me load it via here. I can't remember what I've got saved to my favourites. Liquidity King. Oh, don't say I've overwritten Liquidity King with Volume King. That would be an absolute noob mistake, wouldn't it? And I'm going to have to reload it off one of you guys. Let me refresh that. That would be a noob mistake if I've overwritten. Oh, right, I'll come back to that. I was just going to say liquidity is still pretty chilled, to be honest. So, keep an eye on it, but it's still pretty chilled. I'm not going to be concerned about seeing some downside in the next 24, 48 hours. You're going to have to go check that on your own consoles. All right. Sin says, hopefully no summer sideways. Yeah, I hope so as well, but I'm kind of up for it. And stock market has been very, very hot, hasn't it? Since everybody called for a Black Monday, and Jim Cramer called the bottom yet again on the stock market and crypto market. So a summer lull, yeah, don't be surprised if we get even a few weeks. And then if you look at seasonality, actually some altcoins actually start to pop off in August time. And then it's, generally sometimes crypto, the rest of crypto is like September, October, isn't it? But yeah, August time I would have a look and see what is going on. Yeah, could be summer sideways. Don't you think going to 17k would mean December value area high is resistance again? Yeah, could be, absolutely. We just look at it. Exactly that, but we just look at it. Let's go to TradingView for a second. Yeah, you're dead right. It would just be typical of Bitcoin to give us that fake out. I can see in the timelines we've moved 2-3% over the last couple of days, and we're here, and people are getting bearish, right? Which is unbelievable, right? We haven't even got back to the trend line yet, and people are getting bearish. So I just think it would be very, very Bitcoin to fake out, catch that bid where we're seeing it, and then back. And I think the risk reward down there is actually better than what we would see a little bit higher, to be honest. But we'll see. Look, we put these things in place, don't we? We put these things in place. We mark our levels. Everyone has to do their own TA. Unfortunately, as solo traders out here, we're our own analysts. We are our own risk managers. We're not sat in an office in Citadel, how are we, with risk management saying, no, you can't 1000x fat coin on pumpfund.com, sir, and your analysts is in your head. You haven't got an analyst to second question what is going on, and more often than not, it's good to, even though we're all on this stream together and we all join forces in the Discord and stuff, sometimes it's just good to get your own levels in mind and say to yourself, if we go there, what am I looking for? Yeah, I'm looking for bid. Yeah, I'm just looking for a bid in the market, and if I see that, I'm going to action the trade. Don't overanalyze it. Best traders, sometimes you just got to commit and manage that risk. Quick check of what stock market's doing in the red, not too bad. Hope that Tesla's coming. Yeah, I hope Tesla comes back down because it gapped up like fuck over the last couple of days. Absolute astonishing work by Tesla. Yeah, levels marked, and we'll see what we get. Keep. What did I say that someone laughed at the other day? Keep double Ds. Keep the double Ds in mind, and that's not trying to be rude. Be dynamic and be discretionary. So have your levels marked. Okay. Strong opinions loosely held. I think that's been another one of my classic terms that I'm going to stick on a t-shirt in the next week or so. Only joking, So like, for instance, if you come to that level, what am I seeing the data I want to see to take that long? Yes or no, right? And then same down there, yeah? So price comes down, everyone gets scared, but we're seeing a bid, we're seeing bullish divergences, everyone's shitting the pants, and because we're at 97k or 97.5, everybody then goes, fuck this, we've lost levels, right, we're going to 88k and it's selling May. Bitcoin reverses up, puts us in a new all-time high, tops out, and then reverses for the summer. It would be absolutely classic, wouldn't it? Absolutely classic. Right, I think I've covered everything on Bitcoin at the minute there. One thing to say, I do have this template that I'm still tweaking a little bit, actually, which is just my pure top levels with the alerts on, and then just the main CVD volume that I'm looking at. LS ratio real faded out in the bottom because that's not too important, and then just my open interest to show me if we're getting into hot territory. I took this off sharing because I've been tweaking it a little bit, okay? But I might put this back on sharing soon. I'll certainly give everyone a shout when it is open to the masses. Yeah, and you can just see your aggregated supply just popping up here. Yeah, you want to see the opposite of that, to be honest. So, yeah, I certainly won't be looking for. I'm not willing. I wouldn't be willing to chase new shorts here, because it doesn't take much for a bid to come in and reverse price up. You know, maybe tap the weekly open again, especially with them volume divs. So I'm not in the mood to chase shorts again here. And if you lot know me, I'm not a chaser of price anyway. If price doesn't give me what I want, I don't play. But yeah, we need to see a little bit more. So let's have a look at a couple of alts then. I think there's a couple of alts you could have played over the last 48 hours. I think right here, right now, main concentration needs to be on the big boy again. Yeah, I think we really need to concentrate on big boy again. You can just see that the watch list here, the tickers are, you know, look at these coins. They're absolutely wet in the bed, aren't they? They can't hold their own water. They shit themselves when they don't know what Bitcoin's doing, you know. Oh, is Bitcoin holding this level? Oh shit, I don't know. So they wet the bed. Right, ETH, I don't think there's going to be a lot to say on ETH. Obviously, what we looked at last on Tuesday was the potential for a short on ETH, okay, up into this level. I actually did take a little bit of a short there, just got stopped out straight away. It's funny because I was looking at the price action there, you know, similar kind of price action, isn't it, where there's just no mercy. Straight up killing the order flow, killing the supply. The rest of the stock market was up on Tuesday as well. So like I mentioned on the last live session, if you were going to take any kind of shorts, to be honest, they do have to be very, very light. You know, in a trending market, it's not like we're in a bear market again at the minute, on a downtrend, when you can just really slam that red button and just absolutely hammer the price down. Really, really light hedges. So yeah, stopped out of that one in the end, and we volleyed right up to just over 2,700. So ETH had an absolute killer day. I am, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist whatsoever in crypto. Other stuff I am. You can talk about UFOs and Bigfoot all day long, but this price action here from ETH, it doesn't look too organic, to be honest. I don't know what is going on there. Anyway, it's coming back down now. If anyone did stick with this and snipe some highs at the top, yeah, I think you know, again, I think it was very, very valid, but a difficult one. I think it was a difficult one. And ETH has been, I think one of the guys mentioned it in private, it might be Max actually on the stream, mentioned that, yeah, actually, these wicks on ETH have been quite violent. So, yeah, that is ETH. It is just coming into slight demand now. I don't think it will bounce by itself. I think it needs big boy BTC for a little bit of help as well. So, yeah, a little bit lower on ETH. Let's have a look at Sol. What's going on in the chat? Can you have a look at ETH, sir? Nick, need to catch that for the next swing move. You want to swing ETH? I'd be more up for a bit of Sue. And I don't mean the female, but I would be more up for a bit of Sue. Sue is a great asset. Yeah, so ETH, look, you're already getting demand here. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar what that is, that's one of our alert systems. Okay, and I can go and have a look at what it is. So no, we don't draw these on the chart, unlike crypto shillers. This is our alert system, and it will be a ETH group spot, I think. Oh, we're getting a few, aren't we? Not popped in my log there. I think that'll be an ETH group spot. I don't think it was a diamond. Oh, it might have been, yeah, ETH diamond. Yeah, there you go. Must have popped up to 40 ratio. Yeah, so you're getting some ETH, certainly getting some ETH bid here. What's big boy BTC doing? Bouncing a bit of that old December level, isn't it? Yeah, let's see. Right, Sol. Similar. Getting some demand on Sol. You could be up for a couple of bounces today. So look at perps. I generally like to see Sol perps like this as well, though. That was a great trade. If anyone took that the other day, shared that with everyone at the same time that a couple of other assets were looking good. Yeah, a little bit, dunno. Look, we're hitting some demand. These alerts should just be a warning, okay, to tell you to look at the chart. Give it a little bit of confluence with BTC as well, I would say. Valid for scalps, you know, very valid for scalps. You can see that you get a couple of % out of these. Swing positions, yeah, probably not. Right, so that is Sol. What's CoinM doing on Sol? Really, really bid. The one I'm interested in would be Sue. So Sue yesterday Didn't look at it too much in here, but the end of the day, it was looking really, really good. It's just broke down this demand zone now and probably dipping into some value areas. So I would keep an eye on Sue. One thing to be said is if you did play any bounces yesterday, the thing to keep an eye on was when it gets, it's almost like 1, 2, 3 bounces in this demand zone from the perps market. Then it goes for the third bounce, but then perps offers come in and start to attack. All right. So it's just one thing to be said is when you get perps offers in the market, they do tend to be a little bit stronger than the bid side. Right. So just bear that in mind. Yeah, you're going to get a little bit of a bounce here, aren't you? From Sue probably as well, even though there's not a lot there. E&A. I thought was a very, very valid day trade yesterday. Shared that with everyone. Absolutely came down. So what you've got to look at is on these kind of charts. Let me just refresh that. Yes, I'm in Safari. I probably should be in a better browser. We all know that. When you're coming down to these kind of levels, let me go to a 15 minutes. It look better? No, 5 minutes. Let's stick on 5. When you're coming down to these levels, you really want the lowest level. So you can see that there was some demand coming in there and you had that level there. You bounced, and then as you're bouncing, you see this other level here, okay? So then E&A comes right down to it, okay? So I was loving E&A here yesterday. I thought it was a really, really good risk reward. Why was it a double bubble risk reward? Because perps was absolutely bid as well. Look at that. So, you know, you can say that Bitcoin looked like it wanted to come down, which it did yesterday as well, and it obviously is doing now, okay? But still a very, very good risk reward on here for a day trade. Mentioned to the guys, I think this is a bit of a round trip, because if you tighten your stops up in here, obviously after you got the bounce yesterday, you'd have had to watch it right up into the beginning of the Asian session there to get maximum reward out. You probably wouldn't have. You probably would have looked at this kind of price action and thought, yeah, that's it. It's going to infinity and beyond. Really met that a free trade. And that's what I said to the guys yesterday. I said, if you trade this one, tighten your risk up, make it a free trade if you can, or just tighten that risk up, because, yeah, you never know. And then what happened, obviously, end of the Asian session, all this demand that got filled just gets used as liquidity and you pop down. But I think it's still a very, 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 very valid trade. And then as you come down, end of the Asian session into London session, what do you see again? Offers absolutely sitting on price. So, you know, it's not a time when you kind of see that to go, even if you stopped out, it's not then time to see this dip here and go, right, I'm going to read long. Okay, just be aware that offers are capping price. You need to then just sit out for a bit and rethink it. And here we are now, next demand zone. Okay, so if you're interested in stuff like this, E&A on the altcoins or anything like that, just remember this kind of signature. Okay, don't retrade this zone, recycled zone. Sit out, wait for a bit. Right, I've got a new level to play off now. So hopefully you would actually come down to this level, so it's a better risk reward. Ratios are nice on BTC, Sin says. Let's have a look. Are they? Look freaking terrible, sir. Aggregated depth, nothing there. You've got a 30 ratio here, so you're very likely to bounce on perps. But it's not much. It's not much, and especially with it being half an hour into the US session, I would still call this an absolute no trade zone. It's certainly not something you're just going to go and crack all-time highs from. I think we've got a little bit more time in here, a little bit more work to do, and this is to say, you know, yeah, maybe if you're scalping whatever. It's not something I would do, but, you know, you could just come up, take some of the Asian session highs, which are over here, just look left, you know, and just rotate further down. You know, just be aware of that. Be aware that CoinM are still selling. Be aware that you've got no spot bid on here, particularly until you get down into these Monday lows. So my first area of confluence has got to be, let me just get rid of that. My first area of, ooh, look at that. Have I drawn that on? That can't have been me drawing it on. That's better. That's what you want to see. So this is developing. What you want to see is, let me go to a 1 minute and show you this. So this is what you want to see, and you keep an eye on. Obviously, if you expect this area to hold, okay, they need to come in and be dynamic. The bid here needs to come in. It needs to stick its ground, hold the ground, okay, be dynamic and hold, if anything, lift price. But I can't see it at the minute. You've still got these offers above. I don't think it's going to get too far. I don't think it's going to get too far. Yeah, little bounces, and that is, you know, that's probably it. Right, let's go back. 5-minute time frame. Yeah, little bounces, very, very valid. Where's the daily open? That can sometimes give you a bit of a key. Daily open, 1034. 1034. Let's do a little bit of, let's have a look at this. 1034 daily open. 1034. Which is which would just tick across your Asian highs. US session's quite good at that. It goes and says hello to the Asian session shorts, text them out, and then rotates. And then if you see price start to rise, which I don't think it'll rise too much, of course, come to your OBC. Let's have a look at perps and see if we've got any liquidity gaps higher on a lower time frame. Yeah, not really. 12 hour. I'll even go to a 1 hour. Yeah, we've got no liquidity gaps above really. Spot markets, have a quick look at spot. Although you do want to keep your eye on perps, to be honest. So spot market, you'd have to get above 104. We go to a 1 hour. Yeah, you'd have to get above 104, and I don't think you're going to do it. Look at them offers there at 103. Yeah, we'll see. I think this is just going to be a bit of chop and grind down. It all looks very orderly, doesn't it? Right, let's have a look. Let's have a look at a few more bits then while BTC is doing this. So, if BTC is going to come down to whatever level, so 100, 101, first area confluence, if it has a cheeky grab lower to a 97 in the next 24, 48 hours, maybe it takes until next week. We all know what Bitcoin's like nowadays, you know? Maybe it's fucking next, you know, maybe it's Sunday or Friday or something. But if BTC is coming down, okay, let's have a look. So ETH, have we got some levels? We've got some levels on ETH down to 2.4 there, 2.45. So yeah, Sol all the way down to 161. Okay, 161. So ETH, what did I say? ETH 245, Sol 161. Su hasn't actually got much in there at the minute. ENA. Not too fussed about ENA. Let me refresh that real quick, because I thought that Sonic actually, oh yeah, it gave way. Yeah, one of the lads mentioned this. I can't remember who it was earlier on. So I said to the guys yesterday, I said, watch Sonic as well. It's coming down to that nice demand zone again. But as it came down here first thing this morning, you've got to look at it and say, there's no bid on it. You know, there's no bid on it. So do I want to play a simple top level when there's no demand in and around that level? No, not really. Okay. Perps market 0.5 on S. That's quite far away though. So with that being said, what you want to do is then, so we're on a 4 hour here, aren't we? So ETH 245 would bring us down to that 1 hour order block there. I don't particularly like, there's no real pattern here, and it's not exactly auctioning a range, but it could be some quick trend continuation down into that 1 hour order block there at 245. Soyboy Sol, what did we say? 146? Did we say 146? I can't even fucking remember. What did we say, Sol? Sorry, 160 is its lower band. 160, where's that bring you down to? Monthly VWAP, right? And trend line on Sol. So very, very nice. Very, very nice levels. Absolute brilliant levels. So, you know, if you can get it, Soyboy Sol. Okay, so this is your lowest. So you've got confluence there with your trader, demand levels coming in there, and a classic trend line. I'm not into trend lines, but you know, if the demand comes in very, very strong as BTC meets some demand, then it's going to look good, isn't it? Su has been looking amazing, and what it tends to like to do is, if you look at this pattern here, it loves to, after it put in its range down here that was really, really nice, it tends to like this kind of rounded off price action and then bang up. So I would be watching for that again on Su. You know, where it kind of does this and then it goes fuck you, fuck you. So yeah, monthly open 3.5 on Su. I would be watching that one. S is just put on, I love this level on S, to be honest, but it has broke down for it. So I think it was whenever that was, on the 25th, said to the guys, look, massive swing failure, resistance, another one resistance, pop, back test, up, back test, then it's failing and it's coming back to trend. So, but this again, it's a really nice chart on S-Sonic. So it's now just back within its range, but actually just battling this trend line. So keep an eye on that one. Really, 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 really nice chart. Right, back to it then. The order flow. What other alts do we need to look at? What's Big Boy doing? Going up? Going up a little bit. Let's have a look at BNB. BNB, CZ's Schiller coin. BNB, not too much happening there. Rune has been on an absolute beast of a run, and Rune is looking at in better shape really for a bit of an auction to try and seek them some demand, to be honest, and keep an eye on the perps market as well. So yeah, Rune is the kind of coin that what it does is it'll really drag its heels, auction price as much as it can, and then it'll just suddenly go up and just absolutely smash everybody to bits. So really keep an eye on that one. STX, I'm guessing CZ wanted a bid at 0.3 on the spot market because look at that wick, it's absolutely puke worthy. So I hope no one had any ridiculous stop sell limit orders on spot in that one. Perps were actually unaffected, which is good. That's an interesting chart, isn't it? Okay, STX, if you're up for a cheeky trade, maybe keep an eye on STX. It could be plunge protection though from what's just happened on spot. So if you obviously appreciate what's happened on spot, yeah, I'm not too into the intricacies and the dynamics of what that is. TWAP, VWAP, fanny flap, call it whatever you want. Don't worry, this is not a kid's stream. But I don't know what's going on there. I think that could be. I don't think this is one entity. I think this is either the exchange, or the chads at the TRDR team will tell me if I'm wrong, but I think this is either the exchange or the market maker just absolutely putting in some plunge protection on the perps market, to be honest. Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely crazy. Maker's been an interesting coin, absolute heavy supply, and again, whether you're interested in these coins or not, I have them on my watch list because they have good order books. Look at this. So it's telling you you're coming into some selling pressure there. So alt diamonds and Fauci alerts. Yes, we call it a Fauci, and I've got a bat on it if anyone needs that. It's a spot double band with top level alert. Really, really good. Heavy supply. So again, you've already coming down. I wouldn't short this. You want to be short up there, but that's nice to see if you are still in shorts. What's DeFi doing? RV books have gone terrible again. CRV, not bad. But I don't know, again, you obviously don't know what entity this is who keeps putting these order blocks in, but then they keep shifting them. And it's almost like the offers come in to push price down. And I actually saw that on TRB yesterday. Shared this with the private chat again, but have a look at this. TRB yesterday, I was just watching this as I thought Bitcoin was going to turn over, and for some, actually I might have caught it on the screener first, because I always have, I'm like an Apache pilot. I have one eye on the yes, I'm bug-eyed. I have one eye on the screener on one monitor and then one eye on the console, and I think I saw this come in on the screener, this heavy pressure, and it popped to the top of the spot screener, which is here. So I had one eye on this, and I'm sure I'm going to have to reload that eye. I'm sure I saw it come in. And I mentioned it to the guys. I'm like, fucking hell, that's heavy. Someone's, wanting out. And then those are the kind of shorts you want to look at, even though it's down a tiny bit there. Bear in mind, I'm on a 1 minute chart. Why are those the kind of shorts you want to look at? 4 hour, because it was up here. Yeah, really, really high. So good risk reward. Okay, don't short when they're down here. Right, what else are we looking at then? Let's go through a few of stuff. Give us a shout if you need us to look at anything. What's BTC doing? Minus 1.3%. Okay. OM. Yes, I'm watching OM in case we get some big spot bid, perps bid like that again. Yeah. Why am I looking at OM again? I think the chart is starting to produce. If you look at this on higher time frame, right, look at that absolute sack of shit. Yeah, if you go to God, it's fucking, that is Terra Luna all over, isn't it? Did Mike Novogratz Galaxy get involved with this just before it plummeted? Please tell me you got a tattoo of this just before it plummeted. Let me reset this and I'll show you. All right, I haven't looked at this in 48 hours or 24 hours. I was about to say it was looking nice. I was hoping it was still going to be around there, and it's not. So I was about to say the chart's looking not too bad. No, a bit shitty now, to be honest. Okay, let's give up on that one then. Let's move on. It's doing it. It's going to negative numbers again, like Luna. Right, let's move on from OM, especially if Mr. Mike Novogratz is involved. If you're in the chat, Mike Novogratz, sailor. Right, Pepe, very, very high. It's obviously done very, very well. No time to be longing shit like this when it looks like that. Like I said on Tuesday, even last Friday I said, look, coins are very high. They're probably going to exhaust a little bit. They need a little bit of time. Okay, let them auction these zones, you know, give it a bit of time, scam them lows, and then we'll see what we get. You know, if we're going to trend up and get a bit of continuation for the next couple of weeks, this is what you want to see. Yeah, that's what you want to see. That's where you want to get involved. You want to see price come down, confirm demand, and back up. Yeah. Pepe, yeah, done very, very well. Whiff order books have been very, very good again. Okay, so very, very good. Longs, continuation longs. So I think this was from the live the other week, whenever that was. I think that was when we looked at Whiff the other week, and then we got a bounce and a double bottoming up. Really, really good. What I would say is, this is why we say don't be an alert trader, because you're obviously going to get bid alerts here, because crypto traders love to call for ridiculous prices on crypto assets. I hope everyone gets them. And so what they start doing is, especially the noobs, although we are all noobs and retail traders ourselves, aren't we? But people start to buy the highs, of course, don't they? Because they don't know. They don't know about auctioning a range. You know, they don't know about value area low, value area high. So people just buy these highs, don't they? You know, maybe if you even get some kind of, let me undo that because it's looking like a bit of a bell end. Maybe you even get some kind of classic triangle, you know? So you want to be buying at these lows. Just wait for it to come down. Get your alerts set if there's any coins that you are obviously interested in. And when they start to hit these alerts, don't be a degenerate 1000x perpetuals derivatives trader and long it, but just acknowledge the fact that bid is coming in and then seek those demand levels. That's all I was going to say. Doge order books have been a bit shit, just coming back now. Okay, nice short there. Okay, I say nice short. No real defense of a top level or big order block above it, but certainly, if you have been long in these assets, even if you're not going to short the coins, you are getting warning signs. Okay, supply. So first warning sign, supply. Second warning sign, supply. You know, lower high, supply. Even lower high, supply. Liquidity wick. Okay. Spot Fauci alert, spot alert. Okay, we've not drawn this on. Spot alert. Yep. Saying, okay, you're under pressure now. So lower highs. Monday or Tuesday, whenever this was, supply, liquidity grab. Okay, so like Bitcoin did Monday or whenever it was, liquidity grab higher. So what I'm trying to say to you here is, if you're long, you don't have to short. Okay, but take profit. Right, okay, I'm going to get out for a little bit, yeah? Whether you're in spot or derivatives or not, you know, spot positions you might handle a little bit different, all right, guys? But just, that's the way I would see these sometimes, okay? You don't always have to short it, although it looks very pleasing and nice, okay? But it's giving you a warning sign. If you're in longs and you've done well for the last couple of weeks, okay, you're getting the warning signs. Look at that, yeah? Really, really good. Yeah, been watching Brett and Bonk a little bit. Boom was very nice the other day. What's Altcoin doing? Oh, coming back to trend. Been waiting for this one. Very patient boy. Why? Right. Let me just type in fart. Yeah, got it there. Okay. 4 hour chart. Yeah. Very nice chart. Again, I don't really like trend lines. I prefer just horizontal price action. Maybe this is you could probably draw it from there. Okay, just classic tier. I don't know where this is coming in. You could even draw some kind of C fork if you're into it. It's kind of broke that first C of that line of the C fork. Maybe you come down to that $1 level again. Maybe it's just going parabolic. I don't know. Keep an eye on it. But it's certainly coming down to value. If you think that Altcoin is going to still defy the markets, then you're potentially coming up for a little bit of opportunity here. Don't laugh at me if my fibs are on reverse. They sometimes are. 382 1.1. Yeah, nice. Yeah, somewhere. Get these levels marked and then just have a look. The order books in the console, we've only got perps in here. I've got that trend line there. So it does look a bit messy. Why does it look a bit messy? Because everybody and their fucking grandma and grandpa has been bidding this shit at ridiculous levels. So what I would say is, if I put this onto a 1 hour chart, where if you can to see for these massive, all you'll see is, let me go to a low top level view. There we go. Okay, wait for these big top levels to come in, these big order blocks to start attacking and eating price. And even if it deviates below, just keep an eye on it. Okay, manage your risk really well. Just real low percentage, deviates into demand, back up. Okay, I'll add a bit more here with that momentum, with the strength that you're seeing. Okay, don't let price come down and start adding in because you believe bull eve. Okay, the price is just going to go back up because your Fibonacci's and your star sign and you're in a moon phase, and someone said that we're in a altcoin, meme coin super cycle. Okay, so maybe you get down to these kind of demand levels, you add a tiny bit here, you manage your risk, you get a bounce, you go back up. Okay, we've got a bit of strength. Okay, add with strength, back in there, maybe another 1.5%. Okay, wherever you manage your portfolio, and back up. Okay, really good chart. If you can just watch the top levels on these coins, you know, that are, if they look a bit messy, just watch for these top levels. Yeah, watch for the top levels. Right, what's going on in the chat? Decimal bug. There used to be a decimal bug, Sin. What I would say is Shaquille and DK and the team have rolled out the new TradingView engine. Now, I don't think everybody who signed up has got the new TradingView engine. I think it's getting rolled out in batches, just in case we start to see obviously certain bugs. Then you know you don't want to flood the team with, you know, oh God, we've all seen this and this is happening, and you know, flood the team with issues. Okay, so they're rolling it out in batches. We've spotted a couple of issues already. I think the team have, you know, nailed it and ironed out most of the issues before they even gave it to us to test. So I think that decimal bug will go soon, if that's what you meant. Hot air rises, super cycle confirmed. Yeah, I saw something. Oh, I ain't got it bloody open. Yeah, Murad was down, unfortunately down. I mean, he's a nice guy, Murad. He was down 80% on his portfolio, so he's done really well. Everybody deserves to do well, don't they? I hope everyone does do well. But yeah, to be 80% down and hold through the last few months must have been very trying. Anyway, speaking of winning, how is everybody loving winning on the Trump coin? Real messy chart, to be honest. Real messy chart. I think you can have a couple of plays. It does well now and again with bounces from the alert system, as you can see in a few of these. Look at that, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. If the rest of the market and the rest of the meme coins are moving up, then Trump is certainly one you can play. Obviously, yeah, look at that. But if it's real susceptible to the wider market, yeah, and isn't that the case with most assets? DOT, I would keep an eye on DOT. I think DOT is still a little bit relevant in the crypto sphere, and I do like the fact it's got a good chart. So spot bid coming in there around that 4.8 level. Nothing wrong with that. People will buy spot on the way down here. But levels coming in 4.45 on dot. Really, really nice chart. Adder, not too fussed about that. Another nice signature in the order books though. Again, a confirmation of you are changing market structure. Lower time frame, yeah? So you blast through this top level here. You come down to a supposed demand zone. You bounce back up. Top levels, okay, offers attacking price, you go up, and then the limit orders are sat waiting. They're like vultures, yeah? They're sat waiting. You don't want to see that if you're expecting price to carry on, okay? And then you especially don't want to see these people coming in with larger orders to attack price and try and fill, and it moves away, yeah? Savaro, I had accidentally turned on the open interest alert on Trump, so I had my Apple Watch beeping every I bet you did. Yeah, I bet you did. Yeah, it'll have been going absolutely all over the place, wouldn't it? It can be a nice one to trade because if you can get familiar with it, you can see how volatile it is. But just it trades with the wider market. Like, sorry, I'm on Adder there. It trades with the wider market, doesn't it? I think one of the guys in private, it might have been Wasabi, actually caught that scalp and wick up, and I hope he took profit because it just went boom straight back down. Isn't that often the case though? What you'll do is you'll trade that and price will go up, and everybody will start posting P&L cards and going, I just long this at this position, and then suddenly it's straight back down. Fucking hell, you have to laugh because that is just crypto, isn't it? You have to laugh at yourself. Ooh, XRP. That's unusual for XRP. That is nice. That is nice. While Bitcoin's moving a little bit. God, I don't even like the Lizard Illuminati coin XRP, but that is nice. That is nice on XRP. Don't often see that from spot on XRP. It does. I do have to say. You've still got offers above. Don't want to see that. What's Perps doing? Not a lot on Perps. So yeah, it is just spot. It is just spot. Be aware of that. Spot traders can fill and we can still deviate below here. But that's interesting because I've not seen that for a while on XRP. If you just have a look at how dead the order books have been. Okay, last good zone was there. Okay, and these are the last alerts I had on XRP. I do have alerts, so yeah, I might keep an eye on it. Whatever you think about it, you know, it's worth a trade because it moves nice. It moves nice. If you're trading with any kind of size, you know, you've got good liquidity on XRP. You don't get massively heavy wicks and stuff like that too often. AVAX is getting very much bought up on spot, but the chart is a little bit messy. Yep, very messy. That was nice there though on AVAX for the short side. Big wick. This is actually an easy one to trade rather than most coins. Let me just go to a real clean chart for you. I say clean chart, that's messy, isn't it? But so you get that wick and you wouldn't have caught that. But then what if you were watching this? I don't particularly watch AVAX. Imagine this is any coin. And then what they do is you see the wick and then whatever entity this is, they say, all right, fuck this is going down then. And, you know, regardless of that move back up 24 hours later, that is your short there. That second little bounce there on the 15-minute candle, that's your second one there. Let me just show you that on the overlay again. There, look. Okay, so you get the wick. You go, okay, fucking hell, I think this is done. You should always think that when you wick up like that and straight back down. Same as like we just saw on Trump. And the same to the other side as well. Okay. That's your long. So wick down, grab that liquidity. That's your long. Okay, nice and easy. Or that's your short for a nice day trade down. Really, really nice chart. LTC, yeah, getting attacked with offers yesterday as well. And what's Uni doing? Uni's really well bid, but Uni does tend to get good spot bid anyway, doesn't it? It's a real blue chip crypto asset, isn't it, Uni? So yeah, not a lot to see there. You can see we've got the alert system down here. Not one I would really trade on derivatives or anything, but certainly if you were looking, you know, trading it down here, you know, the last couple of weeks, fucking hell, massive rewards there. So let's have a look. What's Bitcoin doing? Chopping about, isn't it? I don't think it's really moved. Yeah, it's not really moved much, has it? Yeah, we'll see. Someone reinforcing 97k. Let's have a look at that. Let's have a look at that in the last hour. Yep. Yeah, in the last hour, someone's just added plus 62 BTC to that 67k level. Nice, nice, nice. Thank you very much. Let's go. Let's go. Isn't it the case, though? Isn't it the case? We want that, and we won't get it. We'll get this. You just know it, don't you? You just absolutely know it. If we're gonna get that, look, the way to look at it is, if you're gonna get that, just keep an eye on perps, right? If perps get really, really aggressive in here, and even if perp, you know, if this starts to turn real golden color, we used to call it the gold mine back in the day when the guys first launched this. I think it was, I don't know if it was DK or a certain crypto YouTuber that called it gold mine. But you see there, the yellow, we used to call it the gold mine. It'll be really obvious. Let me scroll back, you know, like these cells here, just invert that. If they're going to get aggressive and start to bid it up, okay, what you're going to see is you're going to get a real turn of events here or wherever it comes, really, really aggressive bid. And then what you'll probably see is, or we've noticed before is, if we don't go any lower, this entity might get impatient, okay, and they might just go, right, fuck this, not going any lower, and they'll just start to sit and try and get fills here. And then that is when you get the, if price isn't moving and it's boring everybody, like I said at the beginning, you know, time capitulation, yeah, where everyone gets bored, so they don't stick to the plan, okay, they just start hitting buttons and saying, fuck this, it's going lower. Well, if Nick thinks it's going to 97k, well, I'm going to short it. Well, that's not the right idea, you know. Just be patient. People will get impatient here, and if we are going to get a bid up from anyone, you know, if we're not going to come down here, people are just going to start doing this and just start bidding it up, and then it becomes very, very obvious. Then you don't have to wait for your lower levels. You can just start to buy in with that strength, yeah, and it's a better risk reward as well. So let's have a look at the chat then. Thoughts on Dash? I've not thought about Dash since 2018. Let's have a look at it. Are you still holding a bag from ICO, sir? Is Sin still holding an ICO bag? Like the Ethereum, like the Ethereum coin holders. Actually, I suppose if you're holding from ICO, then you're still doing well. You know what? It's not bad, is it? The order book. You just don't get any big top levels. It's really, really bid though, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, really bid, really bid. Unfortunately, it will do it. It will do what the rest of the market's going to do. It's the kind of asset where I don't think it will do its own thing. To be honest, it's more the case of, for some of these alts, if you're interested in getting involved in them, whether it's spot or not, wait on BTC, wait on Sol, even probably more so than ETH, to be honest, unless ETH starts to take a bit of a mind share over the market. Wait for these guys to do their thing if you can be patient, and then you might just get a little bit more value, yeah? Because you can bid stuff like this on spot all day long, you know, depending on how you want to manage your portfolio. Are you happy getting in here? And, you know, on your spot portfolio, taking a couple more % downturn, yeah. But if you just want to trade derivatives, and for some crazy reason you want to trade Dash on derivatives, just wait on the bigger assets, because there's no edge right here, right now. Not like we saw ENA yesterday. Let me just refresh that really, really quick. Not like we saw an ENA yesterday for a day trade when it was there. And the perps market was really good there as well, and you got this little bounce. It's not much, but it did look good. Yeah, it's not much, but it did look good. Dash just kind of doesn't look that good at all. We can have a look at quickly have a look at a higher time frame chart. Let's have a look. What's it doing on a 4 hour then? I mean, I'll be honest. I do like the look of that. I do have to say, oh shit, very much so. In fact, yeah, I really like that. In fact, yeah, I really like the 4 hour chart. Now, does it look like this because no one's fucking trading it? Does it look like this because no one is trading it? Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't move. Right, yeah, okay, so these are pretty similar. Let's have a look. Let's have a quick look at Dash, the dinosaur that is Dash. Yeah, let's keep those on. Value area there. Yeah, so we can, yeah, so this is your range and has been your range actually for a long time, almost a year. Yeah, almost a year we'll call this, because you ranged here, then you went massively up. Downtrend, range. So, but why I've just pulled 2 ranges instead of the whole thing is I don't want this volume here to skew the data. And what's nice to see is that roughly the value area from that one is actually a little bit higher. So I'm gonna, let's take 2. Let's take 2. I would do this. I would draw 2. That's your demand zone there. Okay, for Dash. That's your demand zone. You could, if you're a trend line trader, you could even draw yourself a trend line wherever the bloody hell you want from there, or let's do it from there. You could debate all day where you want to draw your trend line from, and whether it's on candle base or wicks, I don't really care. But look at that, isn't that nice confluence? So your 2 white lines here, okay, which are your range value area lows. Okay, so the second range that was further back is just a little bit higher, and then your value area low here, 21.4. What do we have there as well? Nice little bit of confluence of the trend line, so into this zone. So if you can get into there, if you can get into that zone, that's going to be your value. So for me on Dash or any coin, you know, ignore the fact it's Dash. Any coin that looks like this, you've got more confluence as you come down. Okay. You could even do a little fib pull. Where does that pull you? It pulls you right to your 0.5, in between your 0.5. You could even reverse that. Reverse. Yeah, no. Okay, let's leave that as it is. Yeah. Right to your 0.5, wouldn't that be a nice pullback? Does it like pulling back to the 0.5? So it pulled back to the 382 there, from that high to the 382, push up. So yeah, that'd be a good trade. I think anywhere in that zone. It's value area low of your range from the previous year. Okay, from the previous year's data. So somewhere in here, value area low of the previous ranges, you've got your trend line, you've got your, if you're into fibs, you've got your 0.5, really good stuff there. If you can pull out a pattern and anything else that looks good in there, then that's really good. And then all I would do is keep those lines on there, okay, and then go back to your 15-minute or your 5-minute. Okay, let's go to our bid and ask, because this is the all-important thing, isn't it? Yeah. So then what I would do is, so again, forget this is Dash. Imagine this is your fart coin trade that you want to swing long, because fart coin is going to be the next financial freedom asset. These are your value area lows. So this is where you want bid. Yeah. So you can see demand already coming in. No major top levels there. Right, so you could look at the depth book. You know, you could have a look at your OBD, your depth book, to see where those levels are coming in. But on this, what I would do is, and I was tempted to, I would look at spot. I don't think we're going to get much edge out of perps. As you can see, perps is a real mess. Why is perps a real mess? Because no one's trading Dash on perps. So there's absolutely zero data on Bybit or on Binance. Okay, it's purely that. There's hardly anyone, and this is what I surmise, there's hardly anyone trading Dash in perps markets, so the data is shit, right? So I would keep an eye on spot, and what I would do is, and I'll do it now as well, I'll drop it in here, spot alt double bands alert, yeah, and it's obviously probably going to fire off pretty quickly. I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me take one of these off. Or have I got any space before counting them? Oh, I've got some space. Right, Dash USDT, simple as that. Save. Right, I'll also bang it on the Fauci alert, because that just includes the top levels, I think. Yeah, top levels. So I'll also put it on here. Dash. Oh, got some space on there as well. Nicely done. But what I won't do is I'm not going to add it to the top alt diamond. Why don't I want it on that one? Purely because it will take the spot market and the perps market into confluence. And I know that perps market's just an utter mess. Yeah, we do have a BTC version as well. All right, but this is quite messy. So again, I don't want dash BTC alert. So I'm going to stick to spot market, right? So again, regardless of what the asset is, I know this is my demand zone. We've done our classic tier. I've now set my alerts because that's the all important thing. I'm looking for this zone on the lower time frame. Hopefully BTC comes down a bit. Yep. Hopefully BTC comes down for a bit, gives us a nice lower bid. That gives us our confluence down here for a dash. Yep. Bang. There we go. Out of the range. Maybe you get a nice reward. You know, and when you get down here, okay, if you see that nice demand come in, as a trader, you've just got to have no fear, unfortunately. You've just got to take the trade sometimes. You just have to take the trade and manage your risk. If you get a Kappa Black Swan event, because I've seen that today, and you get this, all right, you get stopped out, you manage it, you get stopped out, you take it on the chin and you move on, okay? Don't start chasing down, yeah? If you'd like to know more about how we trade the markets, then jump into the TRDR Academy and the Art of Data-Driven Market Analysis course. A little shill there. Right, any more questions in the chat? Let me... Yes, just set some alerts on it, Sin. Yep, set some alerts. Yeah, you might have some top levels. My settings might be a bit high for it. My settings might be a little bit high for it, to be honest. Spot market. Yeah, I've got a few levels. 23-ish. Oh, there we go. Yeah, dead right, mate. Yeah, just yeah, not too much, are they? But actually, it doesn't do much volume. So yeah, my settings were just a little bit high. Yeah, you're dead right. Look at that. That's what you want to see, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, really good. Yeah, cheers for pointing that out. Yeah, it's nice to see it. Yeah, so if you want to get involved in Dash or whatever it is, you know, again, ignore this asset, but that is the process, yeah? We all love TA. It's how you all start to learn. So do your TA, then come in the console, because this is the most important thing, yeah? Price is not going to move unless it gets a bid or an ask, yeah? Right, so let's jump in to BTC and see what it's doing. Yeah, it's not getting very far, is it? Yeah, push less buttons, sir or madam. Have a chilled day. If you've got shorts on, you know, if you do have shorts on, have a look at your areas of confluence where you want to TP and you know, potentially either add to longs or probably get, you know, fresh longs. But yeah, let's have a look, see if we can get down there. As I say, it'd be very, very nice to deviate down there. Right, drop in the chat if you've got any questions then, and we will summarize a little bit. BTC, yep, would love to see it down here at 97. It will bring a little bit more fear in the market as everybody thinks we're going to giga nuke, okay? It would be typical to just come down here as everyone gets fearful, yeah? At the same time as we come down there, we're looking at bullish volume divergences as the open interest comes down. Little piece of the recipe as well. If funding can come down, that'd be great. If we get some good demand down here, you know, really at the minute, will we get aggregated depth of book hitting $1 billion again? I doubt it. I don't know up here, to be honest. We've been trending up for the last few weeks, so it might be the case that your aggregated depth of book, let me just zoom out a little bit. Maybe like back here, you know, that was the Monday, that was last Tuesday's Monday long, right? When we're on the live session, and the depth of book got to 750. Okay, so it came from 800 million aggregated depth, but there, okay, it only got to about 750. So don't always look at this and say, well, I need Nick says $1 billion aggregated depth is good. Yeah, you might not get that, especially since we've been trending. You've got to appreciate that people who bid a lot lower aren't just gonna, you know, maybe they're not around up here, maybe they're just chilling for the summer, they're already in. Okay, so if that depth comes down, comes down and it gets, maybe it gets like 600 million, you know, 500, 600 million. If it's more, great, but it might not get there. But as you can see at the minute, 15-minute basis, we're still in supply. You're still in supply 2.5 to 5% away on BTC, mainly from spot, mainly from CoinM. Okay, you, interestingly enough, perhaps just adding to the pressure there with a negative 20 ratio. Let's have a look at that. Let's have a look at that. Little bit away, but yeah, you don't want to be seeing that. You don't want to be seeing that, to be honest. So yeah, let's have it. Let's come a little bit lower. All right, guys, look, we'll close it off there. I think we could be in for a little bit of a slow day. Lower levels with demand might take a little bit of time to come. Unfortunately, we're not in the old FTX days when SBF, the cunt, used to just nuke price down to his given levels in 1 4-hour candle. I have to say, they were good times though, really, really good times to trade that volatility. But anyway, I think this could take a little bit of time. So, you know, even if you come down here now, okay, don't be scared. Watch for the bid to come in. Check the volume. We might get a bid down there. If it just wants to hold these levels that people are looking at on that trend line, 100k or 101k, then it's going to be obvious in the order books. You're going to get spot levels come in and start to hold price, and then perps are going to get a lot more dynamic and just start to bid this up as well as you have them volume divs. But as it stands at the minute, aggregated depth, not that good, bruv. Yeah, negative, up to a negative 90 to 100 million. Yeah, so yeah, just be patient. When BTC lands, you know, sticks its landing wherever that may be, have a look at those altcoins. If you like Sin, get involved in Dash. It's actually a very, very good chart, so cheers, Sin. All right, guys, look, if there's anything else you need, drop into the trader socials, Telegram, Discord, jump into the academy. Yeah, grab a link from below for a free trial. Jump into the academy, lots of free stuff in there. Jump into the docs. If you get a bit of free time, yeah, you've marked your levels out and you're not short here, but you're waiting for a long, get into the docs page and give you yourself a bit of education. All right, guys, speak soon. Cheers.